The third source of intergroup conflict is cognitive bias. One example is the outgroup homogeneity bias. It occurs when we underestimate the variability among outgroup members and instead perceive them to be all the same. It happens because we're less familiar with these groups and don't interact with a representative sample. Unfortunately, this unfamiliarity then leads us to apply what we know, our stereotypes, even though they're probably inaccurate. Another example of cognitive bias is the law of small numbers. This happens when we base our judgments of the outgroup on the actions of a small number of its members. Here, a few outgroup members end up representing the whole group. This is in line with the adage, "A few bad apples spoil the barrel." The next type is the Ingroup-outgroup bias, the tendency to favor ingroups and criticize outgroups. Several processes play a role in this bias. When we join groups, the sense of belonging we experience triggers social categorization, which leads us to perceive a division between these groups. Also, we tend to believe that ingroups are superior to outgroups, which is called ethnocentrism. And we suffer from double standard thinking, leading us to judge in-group members more positively than out-group members for exhibiting the exact same behaviors. Plus, all of these processes operate at unconscious levels, making them difficult to change. And measure. The most common way to measure cognitive bias is with a self-report questionnaire, but some people distort their true beliefs to be in line with what they think society expects them to think. A more covert option was created by researchers at Harvard University. Their implicit association test attempts to measure the unconscious bias we hold toward outgroups by tracking response times to visual stimuli. Typically, people respond faster when seeing in-groups paired with positive words and outgroups paired with negative words. For instance, human and happy, alien and scary. We respond more slowly, however, when in-groups are paired with negative words and outgroups are paired with positive words. Human and lazy, alien and kind. The assumption is, slower response times mean we have to think harder about the word pairings, which means they don't match up with our unconscious beliefs, which means we hold a bias against that pairing. The final example of cognitive bias is attribution errors. The group attribution error occurs when we mistakenly assume every member agrees with their group's collective behavior. When we commit the ultimate attribution error, we blame outgroup members' negative behaviors on their personal qualities, but we attribute their positive behaviors to the situation. So, when the other group fails a test, for instance, we blame it on their laziness and incompetence. When they pass the test with flying colors, however, we attribute their success to an easy test and just plain luck.